yeah, I thought it is a visual novel. Um, Maybe I thought wrong. We will see. It has everything in which seems to be a visual novel. You can buy it in German. You can play it in German, in France. Yeah, different languages. We play it in English because this will be an English let's play like I announced in my video about the future of the channel, where I said I will do much more English content. So yeah, let's see what this is all about. Now, this is a work of fiction. Names, characters, events, and incidents are the products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance, the regular type. So now, my eyes snap open in the middle of the night. For some reason, I'm filled with a deep and overpowering sense of dread. It's like I was woken up by some ancient survival instinct. Some mysterious part of myself that never quite sleeps. My heart pounds, and I know without a doubt, something is terribly wrong. I don't even know what at first, but then I smell the smoke.
Mom?
Oh yeah, it's there's voice acting in it. The acrid fumes are so overpowering that I can taste them, and my throat burns as I call out in desperation. When there's no answer, I stagger out of bed, my breathing wrecked and uneven.
Mom? Dad?
My eyes gradually adjust to the dim light as I stand in front of my door for a long, agonizing moment. I'm terrified of what I find on the other side. Each possibility that I turn over in my mind is full of more unimaginable horror than the last. I almost wish I could turn around and go back to sleep and pretend that everything is fine until it's all over. But in reality, I have no choice. I've lived in this house my whole life. Where is my... I've opened this door and stepped into the hallway almost every morning for as long as I can. It used to be a normal, forgettable part of my routine. The most emotion I ever felt as I crossed the threshold was annoyance that I had to get up early for school, or enthusiasm about my other plans on weekends and holidays. Now I watch in abject dread as sleeping flames consume everything I always took for granted. Heart hammering even more rapidly in my chest, I shake myself out of my shocked stillness and race down the hall.
Mom! Dad!
I burst through the door to find even bigger and brighter flames wrecking their path of destruction through my parents' bedroom. My eyes dart back and forth, searching for some sign that they are okay. Kinda reminds me of Wings Club, Fate Wings Saga on Netflix. Kinda this shit happens there too. They are not in their bed. Maybe they got out already? But it doesn't make sense. I know they wouldn't leave me alone. A hacking cough tears through my lungs, sparking a memory of a fire safety class from my childhood in the back of my mind. I drop to my hands and knees to limit my smoke inhalation. And that's when I see her. My mother is lying motionless on the floor by the end of her bed, her hand reaching out with splayed fingers pointed toward me. Her eyes are open, unblinking and filled with unmistakable terror.
Mom!
She doesn't respond. Her expression doesn't change. A part of me knows why, but another part of me isn't ready to accept it. Stages of sadness.
Mom! Mom! Can you hear me?
I call out again, my throat burning from the smoke. She can't hear me. I know she can't. Even I couldn't hear you, boy. She'll never be able to hear me again. Still, I crawl toward her as the flames crackle around me. But before I can make it very far, I find myself knocked flat on my face. My back is in searing pain, and I've been winded by the impact of whatever decaying piece of my home just struck me down. I flail hysterically to free myself. One desperate lunge to the side brings me face to face with my father, his unchanging expression just as twisted and terrifying as my mother's.
Dad?
I don't have the strength to shout anymore. The word comes out as a rasping, barely audible cry. Okay, guys, wait. I kinda did a setting, but it's kinda killing down the voice acting. I don't want that. They are gone. Both of them. The people who have taken care of me my whole life. The people I instinctively ran for help the moment I knew something was wrong. They can't save me, and I can't save them. I have a vision of my happy childhood memories shattering like glass as I watch the flames reflected in the cold, lifeless eyes of your father. And then, a chunk of flaming debris hits the floor between us, and I scramble backwards in a panic. The knowledge that my parents won't be getting out of here feels like a vise around my heart, but I don't have time to grieve. I have to get out of here before I join them. Back in the hallway, the fire is moving quickly, destroying more and more of the upper floor of the house as I search for an escape. The stairs are out of the question. They are already crumbling to pieces as the flames consume them. I recklessly shoulder my way through the to the least damaged door I can see, hoping to make a break for it out a window. I find myself in the spare room where I used to sit on an old couch and play video games with my friends when we were kids. Those memories flood my mind as I fumble with the window ledge, the heat of the still spreading fire at my back. I groan as I heave at the window, unable to slide it open. Of course. This window was always sticking, making it impossible to let a breeze in here during summer. It's the worst possible room I could have picked. But that immovable window is still my best option. I take a few tentative steps backward, gasp in a deep breath of the smoky air, and jump. The glass tears at my skin as I smash through it, and for one horrifying moment in the air, I feel certain that I'm going to die. And then I hit the ground, crying out uncontrollably in pain and fear. Yeah, that sounds hurtful. But alive. I've landed in a crumpled heap on my side, one leg and shoulder taking the brunt of the impact. I know, without even trying to stand, that something is broken. Not just from the pain, but also from how wrong it feels. Coughing and spluttering, I twist into a position where I can use my good arm and leg to scrabble through the dirt toward the road. As I inch forward, an overwhelming wave of exhaustion hits me, and it becomes even harder to force myself to go on. I hear a faint siren in the distance. There might be hope for me after all. You have made a terrible fate, haven't you? Nice Zelda reference. Really nice. I think it was Zelda Majora's Mask, where the masked guy said, "You met a terrible fate, haven't you?" And it's also one of the most important sentence in the band round creepypasta. Oh, this is nice. For what seems like ages, I remain convinced that my life ended in the fire. I wake up in a hospital bed, but I don't know if wake up is even the right term for it. I don't feel awake. I don't feel alive. For what must be at least a few days, I drift in and out of consciousness, barely aware of what's happening, even when my eyes are open. Faces clad in masks of concern bob in and out of my vision. Sometimes they try to talk to me. They are they tell me about how the treatment is going for my burns and lacerations, or took the comminuted fracture or the smoke inhalation. Worse, sometimes they try to ask me how I'm doing or tell me they are sorry. Sorry for the loss of my parents. It feels so insulting, so patronizing, as if they could ever understand. As I grow more and more stable, I learn that I have a choice between two different states of consciousness. I can be in all-consuming pain that makes every second feel like an hour. Or I can be on drugs that dull the pain, along with everything else. The drugs leave me confused and disoriented, and frustrated with my inability to focus. I can barely even string two thoughts together to pass the time. Sometimes I think it's not much better than the pain. But at least both options are better than falling asleep and experiencing it all again, even more helpless than before, watching as the flames destroy everything I ever loved. Either way, there is not much I can do to keep myself occupied in the increasingly long gaps between visits from disquieted doctors and nurturing nurses. I could never even dream of summoning the energy and attentiveness needed to do something like read a book. All I can do is lie here and listen to the muted voices on the television in the corner of the room as they go through the routines and the same formulaic scripts day in and day out. But one day, something finally changes in the form of a mysterious girl. It's always a mysterious girl. I drift back into painful wakefulness from another one of my heart-wrenching nightmares one afternoon, and she's already there, eyes glued to the television. I can just make out the side of her face at the edge of my limited field of vision. She's probably not supposed to be here. She looks like she's my age or a little younger. It looks like she's wearing a hospital gown. Must be another patient wandering the halls. But she's the first person I've seen who isn't bombarding me with invasive treatments and unwanted sympathy. So I find myself hoping she stays. I wonder if her own TV isn't working, or if she isn't lucky enough to have a private room like mine. Maybe that's why she came in here to watch her game shows in peace. Because this girl is definitely really into game shows.
Ooh, I know this one. Who is René Descartes?
René Descartes, oh yeah. She yells out the answer at the screen and then cheers and claps when she gets them right.
Go for 800 next. Yeah!
Oh, she's playing Jeopardy, okay. I almost don't want to disturb her. She seems so serenely happy in her television-induced reverie. But even more than that, I want to know who she is.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anyone get that excited about watching Jeopardy outside of an old folks' home.
It reminds me of visiting my grandmother and hanging out with her and her friends in the common room for the long-term care facility before she died. That might be the first happy memory I've thought about since I've been here. My fleeting happiness fades when the girl turns to face me, her lips parted in obvious shock. That thoughtlessly comment probably offended her. Of course it did. The first person I might be able to have a real conversation with in this place, and I messed it up. Nice going, Zach. But then, to my obvious surprise, her lips curl into a bemused smile as she finally addresses me directly.
Did you just call me old?
No?
Sorry. I didn't mean it as an insult. It's just, my grandmother used to yell Jeopardy answers at the screen just like that.
The girl laughs.
So I remind you of your grandmother.
Doesn't make it better, Zach. You called her old again, in some not wanted manner.
I don't know if that's helping your case here.
Yeah, but I guess she's a kind one. She will go over it.
No, I mean, yes, but in a good way.
Yeah, of course.
My grandmother was cool.
Don't know if it makes it better.
So I'm old, but at least I'm cool? Okay, I'll take it.
I like her. She grins at me before skipping over to my bed. I worry for a moment that she's going to sit down too heavily and jostle my broken leg. But she must have been careful, because I don't feel a difference at all as she perches on the corner.
What's your name? I'm Aya.
Zach.
Nice to meet you, Zach.
She looks me up and down. Having seen my reflection lately, I can only imagine the patchwork of burns and bandages that greets her.
What happened to you? Lose a fight with a bear or something?
Oh, come on, let's joke along with her.
Lose? You should see the bear.
Yeah, that's good, boy. Aya laughs uproariously, bringing a smile to my face along with her.
What about you? Why are you in here?
Are you kidding? The hospital is the coolest hangout spot in town.
Wait, what?
TV, free food. What else could a girl ask for?
A fight with a burr? I chuckle. I guess she doesn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about the fire much either, so I sympathize. I can't help but wonder what the truth is though. She doesn't look obviously sick or injured, and she seems to be running around the place freely without a care in the world. Maybe she's being treated in the psych ward for mental illness. She'd be the cheeriest mental patient I've ever heard of. But I guess you never know what's really going on with someone deep down.
So what do you like to do, Zach? When you're not fighting bears, that is.
Wow. What do I like to do? It's been so long since the last time I could just hang out at home and do whatever I wanted. It's like it was another lifetime. I can barely remember how it felt.
Video games?
Aya gasped in awe, as if that isn't the most boring answer I could possibly have given her.
I love video games!
Oh no, she's a gamer girl.
I miss playing them so much! You think someone would have hooked up a console to one of the TVs in here, but no! What kind of games do you like?
RPGs, I guess. And some first-person shooters. Oh, and I love a good horror game. My friends and I used to stay up late when we were kids, playing the scariest games we could find.
I hope he says, like, Resident Evil.
And we were making fun of each other if anything made one of us jump.
Oh, they would have so much fun with me because I'm a scaredy cat.
Oh! Did you ever play Maurizio's Manor? That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a classic! How did you feel about the remake? I know some people didn't like the changes, but I thought it was still pretty good.
There's a remake?
Oh, she didn't know?
Yeah, it came out a couple years ago.